Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Amrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya.
Hello, hello. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to Soul Stories. Thank you to Alicia Mathewson for our beautiful chant that brings us into the space every time that we gather. The lyrics, if you are not familiar, mean from Untruth, lead me into truth. From darkness, lead me into light, and from death, lead me to immortality. The foundation of this space that I hold here, and the foundation of the work that I know is the vibration that attracts you to watch these videos. It's interesting, when I was preparing for the call today, I was sitting in meditation, and I was a little sleepy. I didn't sleep very well last night, and I kept like dozing and jerking awake, and I was like, maybe I should just not do the video. Like, is it really necessary? And why am I even doing this? And do I even have anything new to add? Is there anything that's happened to me in the last week that's even worthy of sharing? And then I started laughing at myself, because so much has happened in 1 week, and for every one of us, we are all in that same, maybe I shouldn't say we're all in that same questioning, but I feel like many of us wonder, what's our value? What's our worth? What are we contributing in the world? Did we even do anything? My husband says this all the time when he gets home from work. I don't even know what I got done. And he has this list of 30 things that he finished in one day that probably would take other people a week or two to get done. But his self-judgment, his self-evaluation is it wasn't complete. He didn't get the list all the way done. And I was feeling that in my meditation. What do I have to contribute that is unique or that offers value between last Tuesday and this Tuesday? And I believe it's part of the human journey to constantly be asking ourselves that. And so as I was sitting there at the end of my meditation, I'd been listening to a Deepak and Oprah guided meditation from their new series that they're doing. And I turned it off, and then I flipped over, I don't know why, to Instagram. Well, I know why. Because as I opened up Instagram, the first picture that popped up at me was this image of Dan Reynolds, who is the lead singer for Imagine Dragons. And they're doing this huge world tour right now, and they have the most incredible images that they're posting as they go. And there's this picture of him, and he's standing like, ripped body, no shirt on, pants on, with this like fierce warrior pose, spotlights coming up behind him. And he has one word in his comments, and it says, evolve. Evolve. Okay, so I got the message. I got the message. That is what we are all here to experience, to create, to enjoy, to challenge ourselves to do in this soul human journey. It's to constantly evolve and create and grow and stretch and become more than we were a week ago, a day ago, an hour ago, a minute ago, depending on what your evaluation structure is for yourself. And so that is really where my reflections come from for today. When I'll go back for a moment. In my own journey, I've evolved in, that's not even true. I thought I was evolving. And when I look back now, I can see how I was looping. I was spinning in certain times and places in my life. And I had a conversation with my best friend yesterday, and we were talking about, when we're in our journeys and we make these choices, and sometimes we stay longer than we should at places, or we get very comfortable and we don't really want to rock the boat, and so we what I would call loop, we go horizontally instead of evolving. We're treading water. We're staying in very familiar grounds or waters or places. And what she and I were talking about is that wrong? Are we doing it wrong because we stay longer than we should? Are we not listening to our own guidance and making changes when we should be making changes? Like, why? What's the evaluation of that time in our lives? And I hear this often from clients and friends, and I see it reflected so many times in news stories and Facebook posts. People feeling like what am I doing with my life? Am I even fulfilling my life's purpose? Am I even where I wanted to be at this age in my life? Numbers are always important, at 40, at 50, at 60. Am I where I wanted to be? Maybe it's 18. Am I where I wanted to be at 18? Am I where I wanted to be for 30? And we're constantly evaluating what measurements we have for ourselves against these self-imposed deadlines. And when I was talking to my best friend about this, the specific incidents that we were looking at was a relationship that I was in. And when I saw a psychic, I've only had a few psychic readings in my life, and when I saw the psychic, he said, "You were supposed to leave a year ago. Why did you stay so much longer?" And when I heard that, I felt the judgment, like I did it wrong. I should have taken this turn and I took this turn. And when my friend and I were talking about it yesterday, what I said to her is, it doesn't feel like there are wrong turns. It doesn't feel like you make this choice and it's right, and you make this choice and it's wrong, or this one's good or this one's bad. They're just choices and moments, and they keep our path moving in whatever way our path is going to go. And our journey is to constantly own those choices that we make, and then step into whatever that next pathway is going to be based on that choice that we made. And that's evolving. You're constantly moving into something else and allowing the journey to continue, exploring whatever is coming next. When we look backwards, perhaps is where we can go, oh, if we had done it that way, maybe we could have saved some pain. Maybe we could have saved time or money or resources or health or whatever our judgments are about it. But that's only from the lens of looking back from the choice we made. If we had made this choice and gone this way and looked back, what would we have regretted from the other one? There's a beautiful book, one of my favorite books. It's by Richard Bach, and it's called One. The first in the series is called Bridge Across Forever, and the next one is called One. And he's a metaphysical author, and he writes about being a pilot. In real life, he's a pilot, and he describes how he and his beloved fly over this landscape, and they can see all of these little streams and rivers and pathways, all these different directions that they can line the plane up with and follow. And in the story, when they land the plane, they realize they've landed in alternate versions of their lives. If they had followed this path, this is what their life would have looked like. So when they get back into the airplane, it's a story with alliterations. What is it called? Where they allegories? It's a story where they give you a visual of something, but it means something else. And as they step into the airplane, they change the timeline. They go back into another pathway that would have gone this direction. And so they're able to really explore all of the versions of themselves that they were, are, could have been, will be. And it's all through the example of an airplane landing and going up and landing. And I love that story so much because it brings forgiveness into choices. It doesn't say that was the wrong path and this was the right path. It's that path led you here and there were these lessons. And this path, there are these lessons. And all of them are teaching, expanding, evolving. None of them are wrong. They're just the next step that you take, and then you go this way and that way. So for me, when as I look back on this week, and I was sitting in my meditation going, what value do I have? What possibly could I share? And I think about what I've been creating this week and the connections I've had, the conversations I've had, the way I show up in my life, the way I am a brat. My husband would tell you I'm kind of a cranky pants sometimes and not very nice to be around, especially when I'm hungry. Like I'm not very nice. And so he would say, perhaps there are things you could work on. But when I reflect on how I am evolving from week to week, I can feel the immense shifts that are happening in myself, in my relationships, in the way I continue to show up in my journey. And sometimes we go through these periods in our lives where there's immense growth every day, every week, and it lasts for a month or a couple months, and then we like fall down on the ground and try to find our bearings again, and pause and regroup and center, and then start another level of evolving. Sometimes when the world is just heavy and dense, we sit and we loop, we spin, we go horizontally, we stay in these patterns of exploring a theme or a topic for a while. And that doesn't make it wrong. Sometimes when that happens, we are building up our strength, our reserves, our knowing, we're trusting ourselves, we're deepening our trust in ourselves. And we have to sit in that spin until something clicks, just like that. And then we shift into an awareness. We awaken in some way. We remember something. The little pieces all just fall into place, and something in us evolves in a different way. And then we're on to the next pathway, whichever pathway that's going to be. When that psychic told me, you stayed a year too long, I felt the judgment. I also felt the shame. Like, was I not awake? Was I doing something I shouldn't have been doing? What's too long? Who's telling me it's too long? Who's got some master record of me that's saying that was not when you were supposed to leave? You were supposed to leave here and not there. There is all this pressure or expectation that I felt put upon me when I'm the one living this life. I'm the one making the choices. It's my journey. It was me who decided to stay there and heal, explore, release, whatever it was that my soul and my body and my mind were hashing themselves out through. We're duking it out perhaps every night. You know, there are lessons, there are valuable lessons in every experience that we have in this human journey, this soul in a human body on earth journey. And there isn't a scorekeeper that I feel, like some person who's assigned to watch exactly each of us and go, wrong turn, shouldn't have done that one, right? It's not that. To me, it feels the complete opposite. Every time I check in with my guides, no matter, or my soul or source, God, anytime I connect in meditation and I ask for guidance, I don't get reprimanded for the things that I chose to do the day before, the week before, the year before, or any time in my life. There's just love and support and a recalibration, like, okay, perhaps something that would serve might be this. Try this way. See if it's easier. See if you have a little more fun. See if more gets done this way. You know, instead of the effort and the pushing and the striving, our guides, our soul, my nose is itchy. Someone is talking about me. Our soul, our inner knowing. I don't know why I said that. It's very itchy though. My nose is twitching like a witch, like bewitched. Very funny. I was saying our guides, when they sit with us, when we allow ourselves to feel the presence of all of the support around us that is unseen, what we get is more support. We don't get the judgment and the smacks on the hand and the I told you so, you shouldn't have done that. Those are all very human responses. They're very 3D reality coming from fear that there's a right and a wrong and an ending. What happens when what I love about the image of the airplane flying is when they're flying, there's never an end. When one experience is complete or one river ends, they just come back and they pick another river. And I feel the same for us as souls. We come down, we have this human journey. Here's Vivian having this delightfully amazing human journey, and this will be complete. And when this is complete, my soul moves back into non-physical and looks it all over and wonders how it went and does some, analysis of what might be another lesson, and then perhaps I come back, perhaps I don't. The soul is the driver of this vehicle, this physical vehicle that in this lifetime we know as Vivian. And when we're able to see that, not just see that, when we're able to believe that, to anchor that firmly into our knowing, and as few times as possible question it, when we just know that all the time, it makes this journey easier, more delightful. The choices don't feel as harsh. There still is the reality of working and food and a home and paying for things and taking care of your body and breathing and sleeping and being in a relationship. There's all these things that need to be done. But when the soul and the body and the mind find this trust, right? From untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality, when we anchor that into our knowing, life just isn't as critical, as harsh, as judgmental. It's easier to just go, okay, I'm going to follow my guidance and trust and know I'm being supported. Perhaps a good way to talk more about this is, this idea of divine timing. For most of my life, I believe we learn through contrast. And for most of my life, I have been the type A who overschedules, packs too much into my day, commits everything to everybody, has high pressure jobs, multitasks like an extraordinary superhero, really get stuff done. I've been that way for, I would say, probably 42 of my 47 years, maybe more, maybe 44 of my 47 years. And it served. I have gotten a lot done. And much of it has been through the mind and the alignment with the schedule, maximizing the schedule, looking at a day and finding out how to squeeze as much into or out of that day as possible, and then just charging forward and disregarding what the body needs and disregarding if the soul is tired or needing nourishment. Just go get the thing done. And it's served in the sense of accomplishments and having lots of tasks checked off my list. What I find now is, especially owning my own business, there are more tasks to be done than when I worked for corporations and individuals, way more tasks, because the creative energy that moves through me is always coming up with something new that should be done or could be done or would be brilliant. And so my journal is filled with awesome next steps, things to do, something to work on, the next project. And I'll never get it done. This is what Esther Hicks says in so many of her meditations. You'll never get it done. So just relax. And then take that pressure off, that you're always going to have some checklist that you're measuring against. I have slowly evolved, and I continue to evolve, where that doesn't stress me out, where I know there is a lot to be done and there are priorities, there are each day I'll ask, like, what are the top 3 or 4 things? And I'll do them in exactly that order as I get it through my meditations. And I get a whole bunch done. And also there's a whole bunch I don't get done. And trusting that the timing is divinely orchestrated, because I am in alignment with my soul and in alignment with the guidance that I get, and in alignment with source energy, in alignment with the flow of the universe, because I'm not forcing and rushing and pushing. There's this surrender that divine alignment is what's moving through my life. And so even though my ego, my mind is saying, get those things done and, show that you've gotten that accomplished and check that off the list and publish the thing that you want to publish, like do the thing, go get it done. When I'm in alignment, which is more and more often, I know that the timing is always perfect. So where my mind thinks it should be by a certain date, because I am constantly connecting to the vibration or the energy of that project, the timing is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. And so when that energetic birthing of whatever the thing is needs to happen, it will happen. And man, there is such relief and release when I drop to that level of trust. And the most beautiful, beautiful experiences come from that. There's an amazing book by Dr. Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. If you haven't read it, it's one of my favorites. And it's crazy, crazy cool how he did this. But he just said yes to whatever was showing up. And he trusted that the divine had a will that was greater than he could understand. And he was just going to align with that energy and flow and see what happened. And he says so many times throughout his book, I had no idea that my life could be on this grand of a scale as it's been. And yes, there have been these twists and turns and places where I could have gone this way or this way, but I always just continued on the flow that I was in. And the greater current of life swept me up and took me to places I would never have experienced if my mind had been trying to control it. So it takes, I don't know, crazy. It takes crazy to surrender like that. It takes courage. It takes presence to surrender at that level, to keep just saying yes and trusting what is showing up. For example, last week, on Thursday and Friday, I had all this work that I needed to get done. I had a huge list. I don't even know how many things I was going to accomplish. One of those crazy lists. I think I talked about this last time when I had the spring break list with my husband. Oh, that was an adventure. And so I created my own to-do list of all the tasks that I was going to get done in my business. And they're all great. They're great projects. They're exciting things. I want to do them. They're fun. And it's a lot. And so Thursday and Friday, I thought I would have all this time to get things done. And I had this beautiful yoga class, and then I took a bath, and I started to have some pieces of patterns present themselves in my meditation. And the topic we had been looking at during the week in my 8-week program was clearing past patterns and karma. And so in the past, I may have said, deal with that later. Go do the tasks. What I've learned is listen, pause, listen. Something is here that is ready to open in you, to heal in you. And there is nothing more important than the evolution that you are moving through. In this moment, right here, be present. And so I sat in meditation and made these connections that I hadn't been ready to see before in my relationships. And I cried, I journaled, I listened to music. I was very still. and tuned into what was ready to shift inside of me. And then that night, went on the call for my program and could flow love and healing through me in a way that I hadn't been able to access earlier that day, because I hadn't been evolving. I hadn't been releasing. We are living our journeys. We are living our evolution as we expand and grow and heal. We bring that vibration, that higher vibration, higher expanded knowing, right back into the things that we're doing. And so there is no more important work than being so present with what is changing and shifting and healing inside of ourselves, because that ripples out into everything that we do. So that was Thursday, and then Friday I had an acupuncture session, and then again was going to tackle, like I had these 2 days to get a lot of work done. I was going to tackle the list, and I came home and was really feeling internal and started journaling and writing and reviewing some of my old notes. And again, the week of clearing past patterns, I was looking at my patterns, and the space that I gave myself allowed me to be fully present when a friend called me that night for support. I was so steady, so clear. I wasn't in a rush. I wasn't tired from pushing myself all day. So when my friend needed me, I could be there, fully be there, without any of my own judgments or urgency. None of that was in my space, and I could just show up and be fully available. We are, and the divine timing of that, there were so many moments Thursday and Friday where every little piece of my schedule fell into place in ways I couldn't have tried to plan any better than it did. Appointments were early, and then someone called exactly at the right time when I just completed something else. And it was just amazing how everything flowed and orchestrated with perfection. And I couldn't have tried to schedule like that. I wouldn't have thought it was possible to have all of that done. The kind of healing and energy work that I was doing because of the space I'm holding for this program, it was so deep. That is something I would have said, I need to be at a retreat for 2 days to be able to access that information and allow my soul to really be healing at this deep level. I would have had to go away somewhere to do that. And the container I'm holding, the support I have from all of my guides, all of the beings that work with me and through me, I could do it at home here in a couple of hours and then rest and integrate. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And side note, that's also the level of healing available on our planet right now, the waves of light and energy that are moving through our physical planet, through humanity. We've never experienced it like this before. So I'm able to access it because I'm fully aware and I create the time and space for it. But everyone else is able to access that too. There is immense support from other realms, from the other side of the veil, whatever words you want to call that, other dimensions. There is so much healing support for humanity that just sits right here. And when we're charging forward and trying to get the to-dos checked off the list, we don't feel how easily we can slide that veil apart and go, support me, help me, let me see. Let me see. Yeah, so a lot has happened since last Tuesday is the whole point of all of that. And where I thought I didn't have anything to share, apparently there's a lot there to share. When I think of the word evolve, and I wrote about this in my book, and I'm going to try talk about it in. I'm going to try to talk about it really from my heart. Not try. I'm going to talk about it really from my heart. In different moments of my journey, I have had teachers and friends who have walked with me. And it felt like at the time we are all evolving together. We're all supporting each other, and everyone is in this experience to heal and expand at a soul level. And what I found is sometimes we hold judgments, within ourselves and the other person with us, that it's some kind of a competition or a race. There's this imaginary finish line, and I am at this point in my path, and you're back there in the path, and I know more than you know, and I've done more than you've done, and so you got to catch up, and it's going to take you a long time. There's this impression that I have received from some of my teachers, the people I've studied with and learned from, that no matter how much work you do, I'm always going to be more advanced than you are, and I'm always going to know more than you and see more than you. And so there's a building up, like I'm inferior and you're superior, and that's the way the journey is always going to go. So you just keep working really hard back there. Run a little faster on the treadmill. See if you can catch up. And I believed that. I really bought into that for a long time. I believed that students are always underneath the teachers, and the teachers always know more, and you go to them every time for answers. And I believe I had that experience so that I would be aware enough, stay humble enough, stay connected enough to the collective universal field of energy that I would know that's just not true. And the way I would engage with the people that I support is, I know you know what I know. You may not remember all of it yet, but you have access to anything I can have access to. We are all one field of energy. And so I'm doing my own evolving, so because I love it, because it's fun, because I'm amazed when I remember something else, or when another piece falls into place, or when something new or old is healed in me, and there's this spaciousness that arrives. I love the journey of evolution. And yet, every one of us can learn something from every other one. There are students and teachers constantly shifting and playing different roles. My children are profound, wise teachers. My mother, my father, all generations bring all of this wisdom into my journey, and they're all constantly teaching me just as I'm teaching them. And the same for my clients. I learn so much from my clients, and I empower them. I don't hold back or share, just a little bit so that they don't know as much as I know. Like, here, I'll show you. You want to know how to read energy? You want to know how to look at these things? Like, I'll show you so you can do it, because your truth is more important to you than believing my truth. And my truth is more important to me than anyone else's truth. And when we're all constantly checking in with our own truth, with our own timing, with our own knowing, with our own evolution, then we're just like that airplane. We're just sort of flying along, making choices, making them right, following where the path goes. And at some point, the airplane's going to go on back to source, and we're going to move back into the non-physical, and we're all going to sit around and go, whoa, that was a fun ride. How'd you do? And some of us may still be throwing up, like after the roller coaster. Like, what the hell happened there? Oh, but it's the point. It's the point of the whole beautiful joyful, amazing ride is that we evolve, we learn, we trust in our own timing, in this divine timing. There's no getting it wrong or being late or missing out or being ahead of anyone or behind anyone. I've seen this in friendships, especially where, you know, everyone's evolution is at a different pace. And that doesn't make anyone's evolution better than someone else's or wrong or worse than someone else's. And yet when the friendships start to need space so that the evolution can go in the ways that it needs to, the friends, the pain or the hurt of the friends, you know, I've experienced this myself, like, oh, like, why don't they want to be my friend? I'm not that bad, am I? You know, we take it personally, and it's not that. It's simply the journey, the path of that individual is going this way, and ours is going this way. And maybe they come back together at some point, and maybe they don't. And whatever it is, it's all for the evolution of the soul in the human body. So it doesn't make anyone right or wrong. When relationships end, you know, this is where, like, the psychic said to me, you waited too long, you should have done it then, you should have done this. The should-haves, damn should-haves. Like, gosh, like, that's a bag of should-haves that nobody wants to carry. Should-haves are irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Once the relationship is transitioning or shifting into something else, you just follow where that is going to go. The should-haves are like taking a whip and lashing your own back. And that doesn't serve anyone. Same with timing, you know, whipping myself over the back that I should have. I should have gotten all the work done on Thursday or Friday instead of really doing the soul healing that my soul needed, that my soul was calling for. And because I'm listening and I'm trusting the divine timing, I honored that call, and I was still. It was really still. What I loved about my own journey, about the way that, I don't know why I smooth the table. Every time we're in this space, I sit here and I smooth a very smooth table. It's already smooth. I'm going to work on not doing that. So I'm going to keep my hand in my lap. What was I saying? It was about, it was important. Oh my gosh, I totally went blank. And I'm trying to smooth the table again. Oh, it was about the program. This is really important. I'm going to stop smoothing the table and put my hand in my lap. So there's this, I've talked about this already in the space, but there's this beautiful program that I was feeling called to start. We're at week 5 right now, so 5 weeks ago. And it's called Awakening the Guides. And it's funny because divine timing again, you know, I really thought I knew how it was going to look. And then Source was like, yeah, no, no, I'll show you how it's going to look. Sit your butt down and follow my orders. And so I just started showing up every week. The way that it's structured is there's a what I call a download call on Monday, and I just channel, I connect in with my soul, with Source, with whatever the topic is for the week, and run the information right through me and into the recording. And then there's homework assignments, and then on Thursday there's a video with an energy or healing integration. And when I originally set the structure up, it was, oh, it's going to be live. Kind of like this. These Tuesday calls, these were designed to be live. These were designed to be people in the space with me where we're doing like coaching work and, you know, chatting and hanging out. And pretty much what it's evolved into is I show up and stream whatever my soul feels is relevant in the moment. And they're fun. I am completely enjoying them, but really at any point y'all can come and join me, and that would be great too, because who knows where it could go when two of us are in this space and we're cracking ourselves up. I digress. Point is, when I started the Awakening the Guides, the intention was that it would be a live program. And so each week, everyone would show up live, and we would have these amazing co-creative energy experiences, and huge healing would happen. It was going to be brilliant. And what has happened is literally source energy is just moving through me. And all of the threads of my work, all of the... I've said to my friend, it's like the best of what I do has been weaving itself together in this really precise way that is divinely guided. You know, here's the healing that we do to begin this journey inward in week 1. Here's what we do in week 2 and 3 and 4. And the whole process is an awakening, a rising up of consciousness, of awareness within the soul and the human and the mind, the body, all coming into this incredible recalibration, this incredible higher vibration. And it's anchored in, it is like a lasting shift, a profound, it's just a profound experience. And it's not been live. The calls, like, it's me recording the call and then that recording being available for the people in the program. And so what it's turned into is more of the self-study. It is a container that I'm holding that is divinely guided, divinely connected, divinely timed. And what I know is as individuals are ready, they're going to arrive into this container. And the structure is already set up that they'll receive the information every week, and they will follow the same process that I've been going through. In one of the calls recently, I said, you know, I'm only a step or two ahead of you. I am in this awakening process, 1 or 2 little steps ahead of where you are. There's not this huge gap, like, I know something you don't know. I know more than you know. I'm competing against you. It's not that. It's, I can see just a little bit further through the veil. And what I see is so damn awesome. It's so good. So trust that it's right there. And as you follow your own guidance, you're going to flow right along with that knowing. And you're going to see these beautiful, amazing understandings of where humanity is headed to. And you can help hold this vibration that we are in an incredible phase of consciousness expanding. And it's happening right here in the physical, on this planet, right in this moment, right in every divinely guided moment. We are awakening, and what we are moving towards, the mind can't comprehend yet. And so this program that I've been creating is moving the veil a little bit more to the side every week and reminding, helping us remember what we know is coming, what we know we are creating, co-creating. It is one of the greatest delights of my life, this program. And what's so funny is everything I have done in the last 2 years in my business, I've said the same thing about. I'm like, oh yeah, like this, I've never had more fun. I love what I'm working on. I love this event. I love this retreat. I love this thing I created. I love everything I'm doing. And it just keeps getting better. It keeps becoming more, which, wow. Wow. So I can only imagine what's coming later this year, next year, the year after. Like, holy shit. I don't even know what it's going to be. But it's good. It's really, really good. And so, what have I done in the last week? A whole fucking bunch. A lot. A lot. And yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's not even about saying that I got a lot done, because that's not the point. The point is the experiences I had as I was in each of those moments and tasks and creations, the experience, the shift, the expansion, the evolution that was happening in me. That was the point. That was the point. And I revel in this life. I revel in this journey that I chose to come and have. I am delighted by the human known as Vivian and the soul who sits inside that I know is so. I am delighted at what we are co-creating and what is flowing through me. And I know if I feel that, it's possible for anyone who is watching this video to feel that too. And when we trust that, surrender to that, just keep flowing with that. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's getting good. It's getting good. Yeah, I guess that's what I got. That's what I got for now. I'm going to keep evolving and sharing, and I'll show up next week and we'll see what I get done between now and next week, Tuesday. Maybe something will get done. Okay, this song that, once again, thank you, Alicia, for letting me play your music and tune into the vibration that you hold, which is galactic and pure and so beautiful. So beautiful. The song that I decided to play today is called In Time. And when I was listening to it, I'm like, well, it sounds a little like sad maybe, or melancholy, and yet it's filled with such wisdom, the words, the lyrics. I actually listen to the song and I feel so hopeful. I feel like we're all in divine timing. We are all going to be one again. We're going to remember that we've all been one the whole time. And there is no separation. There is no you or me. We're just this one incredible field of energy that is constantly evolving and expanding. So let us listen to the most amazing Alicia Mathewson. Sorry, I gotta get there ready. In Time. There we go.
Inside this breath, inside the sea, inside the darkness, you see reflected in me. Inside the music, inside your heart, I will meet you there. Inside, in time, in time, divine time, in time, inside your life, inside your dreams, inside your body, in between the seams, inside the light, I see reflecting back at me. I will meet you there in time, in time. In time, divine time, In time we will be sitting in bliss, like children floating with nothing. In times we will be birds on a wing, flying like queens on high. In time, inside, in time. Inside a mystery, inside the unknown, inside what we can't see, we will be shown inside of you, inside of me, inside where we are both free. I will meet you there. In time, in time, divine time, in time.
Thank you, Alicia. So much love from my heart to each of yours.